Shabbat Shalom. We begin our prayerful meditation by first making sure that we are comfortable. Meditation is not about making ourselves uncomfortable. It's not about twisting or forcing ourselves to either confront or to be in a posture that is uncomfortable to hold for very long. It is about being in a way where we allow ourselves to remove distractions, and discomfort is a major distraction. By allowing ourselves to sit securely, peacefully, without stress, without pressure on one point or another, without worrying about toppling or cramping, just relaxing, being in place. If standing, just allow your feet to be about shoulder width apart. Allow your body to be at ease, but your spine rising up from your hips to hold up your shoulders and heads so that the muscles do not have to have any of that work. But removing the distractions that come from manipulating ourselves through this world and life, by giving ourselves this time for prayer, by giving us this time for reflection, we allow ourselves to think more clearly, more deeply, and about things that perhaps we have avoided during the hours of the week. We begin, in order to try and control and guide that experience, by controlling and guiding our breath. By focusing on it, we can distance ourselves from other distractions by focusing on that core within us, the energy that flows into our body, gives it its strength, and then exhales again. For just a few minutes, allow yourself to become aware of your breathing. Don't try to control or guide it yet. Just notice the rise and fall of your body. But as you do notice it, it will begin to become under your control. Now that it has your attention, it asks you to guide it. Allow it to be a little deeper. Allow it to be a little fuller. Feel your body expand and contract a little more than it does in the usual day. Stretching outwards so that more can be brought in. Pushing inwards so that all that is down in the deep recesses can be removed, released, allowed to return to the world around. This is the process of our neshama, of our spirit in this life. We are not meant to merely float through life, but to breathe deeply, to allow our soul to experience so much of what this life has to offer. And though yes, sometimes we will breathe in things which are noxious, we will take in things which are unwelcome. The act of allowing them to expel, to be gone, to release, frees us from that burden. For the soul remains pure regardless. So let yourself breathe deeply and let yourself expel completely as we thank God for the gift of our soul. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenata bi, Shenata bi, Tehorahi, Tehorahi. Oh my God, oh my God, the soul that you placed in me, that you placed in me, it is pure, it is pure. Neshama, the soul, Shenatatabi, that you placed in me, Tehorahi, it is pure. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatatabi, Shenatatabi, Tehorahi, Tehorahi. Through this gift of the soul of our neshama, we are aware not only of our blessed state, the state of existence, the state of purity, the state of an indelible connection to Adonai, but we are aware of Adonai. Moving beyond Elohai, beyond my God, we recognize that this is Eloheinu, this is our God. Indeed, this is Borei Ha'olam, this is the creator of all the universe. Our experience within allows us to appreciate that which is out. Even as we continue to breathe in and out, we recognize that we are linked, mingled with all of the world around us. That my breath comes from this world as it is taken and transformed over and over again through the infinite diversity of life. And that what I release back into this world, so too will be taken by all that exists, changed and transformed over and over forevermore. For indeed, all of the world has one creator. All of the world has the one that spoke, and the world came to be. Blessed is that one. As we allow ourselves to try and fall into rhythm of breathing with this ultimate expression of our existence, we remind ourselves, Baruch She'amar, blessed is the one that spoke. V'haya ha'olam, and the world came to be. Baruch Hu, blessed is that one. We allow ourselves to breathe in as a response to God's speaking of the world into creation. Baruch She'amar. We allow ourselves to inhale deeply of God's creation, feeling ourselves entirely. But then we hold it, the Hayya Ha'olam. Hold it as the world is full of God's essence, bursting at the seams, not struggling, but merely completely full. And then we recognize that that fullness must be used to serve Adonai, not merely hoarded and kept within. And so we exhale again as completely as possible, as we say Baruch Hu, allowing all to return, a full and complete release, holding on to nothing. And then we pause our cycle, allowing that moment of nothingness to stretch, knowing that we will be full again, rejuvenated, refilled, restored with the next breath, which will come in due course. Baruch She'amar, V'haya ha'olam, Baruch Hu. Baruch She'amar, V'haya ha'olam, Baruch Hu. Baruch She'amar. V'haya ha'olam. 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 Baruch Hu. As you continue the cycle of breath, allowing yourself to fall into the rhythm of this world, allowing it to stretch so that you can savor each of the different portions of time that we are allotted. The intake, the holding, the release, the emptiness. Allow yourself to understand how easy it is to breathe in. There is always enough. We are constantly sustained. How often do we ignore this simple fact? How often do we take for granted the breath that is our sustenance? How often do we ignore the soul that sustains us and gives our life not only its form but its purpose? But so too, the release is easy. To try and hold forever all that we have gathered becomes uncomfortable, unbearable, a burden. What was sweet when brought in becomes stale and stagnant when held too long. It must be released so that it can be used by others in this world. It must be released to allow ourselves an emptiness so that we can be filled again in the endless cycle. How often we hold and grasp, fearful of release. How often we desperately reach for something to fill what we feel is a lack. All that we need comes freely. All that we have can be released freely. For who we are transcends either what we grab, what we hold, or what we lose. Instead, this cycle of life forms a symphony for the whole world. Every breath, every soul, every element of God's creation gives praise to God. And so we say, Hallelujah, give praise to God. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol anshamat hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol anshamat hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol anshamat, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol anshamat, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Kol anshamat, hallelujah, hallelujah. Kol anshamat, hallelujah, hallelujah. And from this realization, we can finally understand the truth that lies behind the words we learn as children, the words we recite twice a day, the words that we recite until the last day. Shema Yisrael. Hear, Israel. Hearken. Take to heart. Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai, that which is the essence and origin of all existence, that which transcends this universe and allows it to exist. This is what we turn to as Eloheinu, as our God. Not some statue, not some feature of God's creation, not some imagination of God as one of us, only bigger or more powerful. We see through the veil of this world. We see through the shadows of this world. We see through the illusions and temptations of this world. That only that which is beyond is worthy of our adoration, our worship, of leading us through the mitzvot, the commandments. And so we will listen to Adonai. And we recognize that Adonai, Echad, God is one. Not a oneness of being only alone. The oneness of being only able to be one. For there can be no second God. There can be no other God. Were there to be two, neither would be God, and we would have set our sights too low. Only Adonai is Echad. Only Adonai is truly one. And we are linked to Adonai through our neshama, through our soul. And we too are one. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema, along with all the teachings of this Torah portion of Mishpatim, together with all the truths of the Torah, the Tanakh, and everything that our Chachamim, our sages, have taught us. Teach us that we are one, that we are part of the infinity of God. And yet we grab and hold and pull, we scrape and claw, we dig, we grasp, we clutch. We act as though we were scared animals hoarding against a winter, hoarding against others, against want, against loss. But how can we be ever robbed of the infinity that we share with Adonai? What could ever truly be taken from us? As we remind ourselves in Mishpatim of the mitzvah of release, I invite you to take your hands and hold them close, closed, tight fists. Imagine whatever is most precious to you there held in your hands, held tight, squeezing to make sure it is never lost. Whether it be a thing, a favorite place, a prized possession, a treasure beyond measure that you could never imagine or bear to be parted from. Perhaps something you have worked many decades to be able to have, to possess, to hold, to protect. It has such value. You have given so much for it. Perhaps it is a person, a loved one, someone so dear to your heart that the mere thought of their absence brings you to tears, that your heart feels like it breaks if you imagine them being gone. You would give everything to protect them, to hold them a little longer. As your hands continue to tighten, reflexively at the thought of losing them. People, things. In this world, all things are lost. All things will slip through our fingers. We can hold as tightly as we wish, but all that happens is in the strain. We will hurt ourselves. Holding so tightly, we twist ourselves, knot our muscles, bunch our spirit in twisted mockery of what it should be, in the vain attempt to hold that which cannot be held forever. And so too of what we wish to possess, what we wish to hold and cherish, by gripping and grasping so tight, by holding on to it with all our might. What damage do we do to it? To our possessions that we hide away, lock beyond sight, treasure so much that we cannot even enjoy them for fear of their loss. Treasure so much that we cannot even let them be glimpsed by our own eyes. Treasured so much that they become a burden, that they become an anchor, holding our lives hostage to ensure their continued possession. And even of our loved ones, holding them so tight, acting with such fear that they might leave. What do we do to that relationship? Do we give them the freedom to be themselves? Do we smother them with jealousy? Do we allow them the opportunity to fly and be themselves, knowing that we will soar with them, for we are always with them? Or do we demand, beg, plead, that they cater to our will in order that we can be sure we believe of their continued presence. Allow your hands to relax. Feel how the skin pulls against itself, resisting to return to a normal position. Fingers aching from being clamped so tightly. And for what? There is nothing in this world worth holding that can be held. There is nothing in this world that we fear losing that won't be lost. In this world, all things are impermanent. All things will end and be transformed into something else. It is only our neshama, only our spirit which continues truly forever. Only our spirit linked through Adonai that has true permanence. And this does not need grabbing or possessing. This is safe, secure. This is always. Always does not need our protection. It is our protection. Those you love will always be with you. That which you desire will be here today or not, but you will be fine with or without it. You are gifted with the greatest gift of anything in this world, with a spirit that can touch to God even in this life. Do not allow yourself to be burdened with all that you think you may need from this world. As in the sabbatical year, release, release. Allow it to return. Allow yourself to be free, even as you set free that which is in your grasp. And you will find it is still with you, and you with it. Shabbat Shalom. Allow yourself a few moments. You can continue to think and meditate on the specifics of what you may wish to release, of what you have tried to hold or grab too hard. You are welcome to join us with our live stream in the sanctuary in just a few minutes as well, or to continue with your tefillot privately if you are at home. Shabbat Shalom. Find the peace on this day of cessation and completion. For you are fine as you are. You need no more. You are complete as you are. Shabbat Shalom.